birthday, Grandma. Love you.
Happy birthday, Graham.
Happy birthday. Many more.
Happy birthday, Grandma. Love you so much.
Happy birthday, Gigi.
Happy birthday, Gigi. Happy, nice, and fun.
Grace, funny, loving.
Authentic. Mom is the real deal. There isn't a false bone in her body. Except for her hip. That's made of ceramic.
It is loving is probably the biggest word about Gigi. But she's loving of many things, like butter, like Kate, but also loving of all of us. But let's be honest, really Kate.
Dependable.
Nice, funny, happy.
Brave.
She's charitable, she's so loving, and she's a pioneer. She was the first woman to wear pants at her workplace. I always remember that. I think that's friggin' cool.
Loving, a little spunky, and strong.
3 words I would use to describe Grandma are family, smart, and sassy.
Sincere, smart, and sassy.
Warm, resilient, and sassy.
The 3 words I would use to describe Graham are sassy, smart, and devoted.
Smart, strong, and sassy. And I think sassy Grandma is my favorite.
Diagnosed with hepatitis December of 1968. We were all supposed to go. We went down like we always do to Florida, to the Realm. And you and I got to stay an extra week or so with Nan and Pa because I wasn't going back to school. We flew home first class, and I think that was the first time we had lobster or crab meat on an airline, and it was just a really cool kind of adventure with you.
When we used to go back to school shopping, we would go shopping, get some lunch, just the 2 of us, and then bring everything back and do a fashion show for Bobby, my mom, and Michael.
At Josh and Taylor's wedding, when Kate and I were dancing with you, and it was just so fun. Definitely that whole wedding was such a great time, but that was by far my favorite part of it, and still one of my favorite memories because it was just too much fun.
My favorite memories of Grandma have, as weird and perverse as it may sound, have been in the last 17 and a half years since Bobby passed away. He was always the life of the party and the life of whatever room he was in. And we were fortunate to really spend a lot of time with him, but I'm really glad that, obviously I wish that he were still here with us today, but in short of that, I'm glad that we've been able to spend as much time with Grandma and let her be the focus of our attention, so she can really kind of reign supreme as the matriarch of the family, which she deserves.
When we were up in Shell Lake, and we were all in the lobby of the hotel waiting to go over to I think the funeral or get together after Uncle Ray died, and I remember Gigi telling me all about her family and her past.
When I was first being introduced to the family, she had just moved into Mather, and all the girls and the family had gathered for a meal, and even though it was a little overwhelming at times, it was beautiful to see Gigi as the center and the matriarch of this lovely family, this loving family that I've chosen to be a part of.
Driving up to the petting zoo in Wisconsin, I can't remember if one of the great-grandkids was in the car, but we were just talking about which animals we were most excited to go see. And then you had to make the sound of that animal. When it got to Graham, she said cows. And so when we started to make the sound, instead of the traditional moo, it sounded more like a pterodactyl being played by Rip Taylor. Like really, she just went for it, and nailed it. As long as you weren't trying to sound like a cow.
When Josh and Wee Wee surprised me by bringing her out to LA to see me in the Nutcracker, I went into the guest house and I saw her sitting in the chair, and I just remember feeling so happy.
My favorite thing to do with you is at your old house we used to go around finding like keys and stuff, and from Bobby, and we learned about stuff from Bobby.
Be in Athens. It was either the Pantheon or Parthenon, one of the big old Greek things. And I got to push her wheelchair up the vast majority of the way. And On the surface, it doesn't sound like a very fun time, but I remember feeling a great sense of importance and felt like her sidekick. And then to do it again at Josh and Taylor's wedding are memories that I'll always have.
So a lot of people think of Bobby and his dancing, which was also really cool. But watching them dance together is one of my favorite memories. Remember, Graham had to do it backwards and in heels, so always much harder. And she made it look effortless. And as everybody else can imagine, she had that look on her face that she gets when she's dancing, and that's always a favorite memory of mine.
Christmases at the condo. The one thing that I remember is actually Gigi teaching us, not necessarily at Christmas, but was teaching me how to make fried green tomatoes.
Swimming at the lake with her.
We were about to go see go from Montreal to Quebec City, and the best quote of all time is, "You've seen one French city, you've seen them all."
When I gave birth to Kate, and she was there, and she held my hand, and she stayed there and slept, sitting up in a chair for 5 days. And it was just really cool that everything I learned about being a mom is from my mom. And there she was, and there I was, and there Kate was. And it was 3 generations of a lot of love.
One of my earliest memories of Grandma is going to visit her and have lunch with her. We used to spend the day with Bobby over the summer because he wasn't working most days, or rather he would take off those days when we wanted to hang out with him. We may go to the pool in the morning, but then we'd always go visit Grandma for lunch because she was working. And so we'd either go out to Rosemont or we'd go and meet her near that big orange building in Wilmette. She used to work at, before it was the Park District. I remember going to Baker Square a lot.
Probably sitting in the shade just outside the pool, eating what I hope was not a bologna and butter sandwich.
Definitely swimming at the old pool, at the old condo, especially night swims with my mom and Maggie and Bobby.
Would actually be at the pool. Would be at the pool because we were there so often. So we'd be swimming at the old condo.
Mike and I were living in Fargo at the time, and I thought it was so sweet. He needed to call his grandma back, and I was in the car next to him, and just listening to him talk to you was so sweet. And at the time, I'd never heard him laugh like that before, and all I could think about is this must be some wonderful, just sweetest woman in the entire world, and I just thought how lucky he was to have you.
We went out to California for her 80th birthday. And I mean, it was a heck of a day. We started on the set of General Hospital, where she actually had birthday flowers brought to her by Constance Towers. Then we went and hang out just for leisure, just poolside at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And then we followed that up with dinner with Sharon Osbourne. So, I mean, honestly, my first impression and first memory is just thinking, wow, what an incredibly glamorous life this woman lives.
See you in Chicago on the old balcony with her.
She was a full-time working mom who came home and provided a full meal for her family every single night of the week. We didn't eat out, we didn't carry in. She cooked a protein, a starch, a salad, and a vegetable every single night. And her food is really good. I miss Graham's cooking.
Probably when we would all go to the Sportsman's Lodge and go swimming, and we would play together, and I would hold her hostage in a chair so I could pull her hair and try to pretend I was a hairdresser.
My earliest memory of Mom is at Green Lake, sitting on the bench on the pier in her one-piece bathing suit, looking really, really tan and beautiful and voluptuous, and just watching us swim.
Earmuffs for some. We were playing a family-friendly game called Shit Happens, and she actually, I believe she won the entire thing, got everything right, but where she did not, or Kate did not have to explain to her what an unsolicited dick pic was.
Funniest memory I have of Graham is her seemingly taking the steps 2 at a time up the Acropolis with the promise that lunch would be waiting for her at the top.
Being introduced to hollandaise sauce. Not sure what it was before that, but afterwards knew exactly what it was.
Probably when we were all in Barbados and we were on the banana boat, and I just hear behind me, "Someone get me off!" And she's flailing on the banana boat, and I mean, maybe it's not funny, but I thought it was really funny.
When we all went to France together and we ate at this place in Saint-Martin, and they made foie gras, seared foie gras, which I don't think she had ever eaten before, and she took one bite of it and started crying.
Funny thing actually about Gigi is probably having her ask for butter literally within 2 hours of having bypass surgery.
Funniest thing about Gigi is that sometimes she just comes up with these wise cracks, and she says it very dry with dry humor, and it's the funniest thing ever.
The funniest memory I have of Graham comes about twice a year during football season whenever the Bears and Packers play. Whenever the Bears win, she always feels very sorry and continually talks about how good the Bears played, giving the vibe that she is a Bears fan. But then when the Packers play, it kind of switches, and she's all happy that the Packers won because the Bears suck, and she's my best friend for however long that lasts.
Let's see, my funniest memory of Grandma. There's a lot. One of my funniest ones is about maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Grandma just started using her cane. So she was a couple months in, and I asked her at dinner one time. You know, I was joking. I said, "Have you ever hit anyone with that?" And she immediately, and with a perfectly straight face, said, "Not yet." And that's when I knew that she was eventually going to hit someone with it.
Her life. She is ahead of her time. She's always been ahead of her time. She had roles in her job that other women before her didn't have, so she was a pioneer. She was a feminist before being a feminist was a thing. She took care of her family, she took care of the household, and she was an amazing career person who I'm sure she mentored many, many people along the way, and I've always admired that about her.
Regardless of everybody's flaws or, you know, whatever, she loves everybody no matter what.
She's nice because she gives us a lot of stuff and almost everything we want.
The thing I love most about Graham is her devotion to and her pride for her family.
How she loves us, how she loves my daughter, how she loves me. I know that there's no one that will ever love me like my mom.
She gives us lots of presents.
The way she reads stuff out loud, if it's just a commercial on TV or a billboard that you're passing by, I'm the same way. For some reason, I just want to hear it out loud, or say it in my voice or something like that. So I just know that we have that in common, and it's just one of my favorite things to see in another person.
It's the thing I love most about Grandma. Probably that she gives me money. No, I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. I think it's that she just loves her family so much, and she's always there for us.
The thing I love or admire most about Graham isn't a part of Graham, it is Graham. When you look at the family she started, I think all of us have had the opportunities or are continually doing what we love to do for a living. And I think at the end of the day in life, that's really all you can ask for, and Graham was the start of that.
I've learned so much from you, and I love you more than you will ever know. Thanks for teaching me to be a good mom. Thanks for teaching me to be a good Nana. So, I love you more.
I love you, Mom.
Mom, I love you.
I love you more, don't start with me.
Love you, hope you have the best birthday ever.
Happy birthday, Graham, you're the best.
I love you very much, Graham. Happy birthday.
I love you, Gigi.
I love you, Graham. Happy birthday, Graham.
We love